country sort of situation. But yeah, 4 or 5 years is a long time, and you've been in anyway. That's another question for another day.
I think we've done enough for this person here. What do you think?
Yeah. I think this person, who was it, Damien?
Hugh Grant.
It was Hugh Grant. Yeah,
it was Hugh Grant.
Let's leave it there for the man from Notting Hill, and let's move on to Marcus.
Yeah, all right. So this one is going to come from Robert Downey Jr. And the reason why I chose Robert Downey Jr. because he was caught for, let me just say here, he was caught for possession of drugs, hard drugs, and a handgun. But the best part about his conviction was the mugshot. He looks like he is so happy on life. He looks like he's having such a great day. So anyway, Robert Downey Jr. writes in.
Okay.
Was life the name of the drug?
He was high on life, yeah.
He was high on life as well as like heroin and cocaine. So it's
like it's a cocktail. L is for LSD. I is for iridium. It goes on. But anyway.
F is for fucktoys. Anyway, he writes in. Robert Downey, I got grounded. Is it fair? Okay, so here it goes. My school is near a train station, and at break time, I had enough and decided to climb the fence and jump on the train and go shopping at around 11 a.m. So I didn't think much about it. I thought, yes, freedom. Little did I know, someone told me one of the teachers who beat the train and was waiting there for me to get there. Anyway, she finds me there and brings me back to school. Gives me 2 weeks detention because apparently it was dangerous and anything could have happened to me. Hello, I am 15 years old, all right? I know what I'm doing. Anyway, my mum gets phoned by the principal, and then guess what happens? I get grounded for another 2 weeks for sneaking out. Was this fair? Should I have been grounded? Robert Downey Jr.
Bad boy, Robert Downey Jr.
More like Robert Groundy Jr. Am I right?
Oh, that will do. That will do.
That will do. I liked how this question was written mainly because it sounded like a fucking 2-year-old wrote it, not a 15-year-old. And yeah, it just made me laugh.
Especially because he's arguing the point that like I'm mature, but he can't even like word the submission right.
Yeah, exactly.
While you were reading it, Marcus, I could actually hear the fervent clacking of keys because it reminded me of when I was like a young kid and I'd go on MSN, and if I was annoyed at my parents, and immediately like a hurricane of like words that I'd type to my friends, like, oh, they're so dumb, they don't let me do anything.
It was like word vomit. I wanted to ask you guys this. Yeah. Sorry, Tom.
Respect the hand.
No, I was just going to ask both of you guys, have you ever wagged school before? Have you ever ditched class? Have you ever flown the cuckoo nest? Cuckoo nest or coop? Whatever.
The coop.
So have you ever done a Ferris Bueller is what you're wanting to know, Marcus?
Yes.
I can't say that I have. So the situation with my school was it was very sort of remote. My school had like the driveway to the school was about 1.5 kilometers long. So you would almost it's a windy sort of, the school was at the back of the property, and there was this massive driveway to walk to the front gate. And I feel like if you were to make a run for it or try to run, there'd be basically a watchtower, and someone would snipe you with like a diary note or a detention slip, and it would hit you in the back of the head, and they'd drag you back into class.
Just a BB gun, just bang in the back of the head.
It was impossible to do, but we had a friend, Marcus, our neighbour, that he went to the same school as me, but then he eventually moved to a different school. He's a bit younger, and one time I was in the city, I was at uni, and I was taking the train home. I was about to take the train home, and I was waiting at the station. I went to go on the train, and as the train doors opened, I walked in, and he was walking off the train, and I knew that he was he's like 4 years younger than me, and I knew he was supposed to be at school, and I said, oh, what are you doing? Aren't you supposed to be at school? So he had walked out onto the platform. I was on the train, and I'm looking at him, and I said, aren't you supposed to be at school? And he said, what do you mean, Tom? I am at school. And I looked at him blankly, and the doors closed in front of us, and I just rode off into the other direction as if to say, be cool. Do not tell anyone that I am here.
I love it because I remember this situation when you told me this story, and I was in tears because he was always known as the king of he knows exactly what he's doing, and he wants you to play along with him. So he's like, I am at school, Tom. Believe.
Don't say
believe
otherwise.
it. Yeah, exactly.
And Tom looks back and he's vanished. He just disappears into thin air.
He was a ghost all along.
The thing I used to do at school, and me and my friends used to do it a lot, is we would tell the teacher we had a music lesson. I feel like I should say we do have some young listeners, so do not do as we used to do. All right, we've learned.
True. Yeah.
No, you can do it. Don't worry about it. Don't, like Damien could be the angel on your shoulder on one side. I'm the devil. Do it.
Okay, fine. But what we used to do was tell our teacher we had a music lesson, and so they'd be like, and they would never question it, and they would never check. So they'd say, "Yep, no worries." So then I'd go missing for like 45 minutes to an hour, and I'd plan it with other friends, so we would just meet up. And sometimes we would just go to the music room and play music, or go down to go get some Maccas or something. But one thing that we used to like to do a lot is we would wander the schools. I mean, wander down to like the year 7, year 8 area, and for some reason, on all of the classroom windows, they had the roll list of the class. I don't know why they had it. So we would pick a random name, walk into the class, and then say, sorry to bother you, sir, but Principal Jones has requested to see Marcus Laporta. So can we please grab him for a sec? And the teacher would be like, "Yep, no worries." So the kid would get up, he'd follow me and my friend out of the class, and then we would just run off on him. So the kid would be just stuck standing outside the class. Like, what the hell just happened? And we just used to do that every now and then just because we got a good laugh out of it.
For some reason, you're in a position where you're playing music in front of people, and they're just like, "Oh, Damien, he must be good because he's always out for music lessons." And you play and you fuck up somehow, and then it's like, "Why is he so terrible at his instrument? He's got a music lesson almost every day. He's so bad."
He's trying to play the guitar with a drumstick. What is going on right now?
That's why he needs those lessons, Tom. That's why he needs those lessons, because he is that bad. He has to play it down.
He's got to be treated delicately, this boy. He's not all there. Marcus, are you someone who may have wagged here and there? I predict you're a bit of a goody two-shoes, though.
I am, but that's not to say that I didn't wag. There was definitely cases of scenarios where, because to wag at our school, Damien and my high school, we had to call up the teachers or to call up the reception to say, "Hey, we're going to be away for the day." So it was always hard to sort of get away on a sick day. However, you say that, Damien, but you totally could. You just, get some like younger sort of friend, not younger friend, like another like female sort of friend to call who was a smoker. I always used to get someone who was a smoker because they always had a husky voice. And, they call up, Marcus isn't feeling well today. He's not going to be in. Oh, okay, no worries. Bam, easy, out. It was, I didn't do it often. I did like once or twice, but that's how I did it. And, for the day, I would roam through the cities and the city. Yeah, just one city, not multiple, but it was fun.
You used to go cross state in one day.
I used to go to like Sydney, Queensland, or Brisbane, I should say. Yeah, that was me.
And then you were back in time for home time for the bus.
That's it. Mum never knew.
Well, that's not a bad technique, I will say. If you're going to do it, you want to wag in the most legitimate way possible. You have to get someone that's always... Basically, you need to recruit somebody as like, you are going to be my parents' voice for my entire schooling life, okay? So you got to put this accent on, and I want you to do it for everything. I want you to even be like... To call up and be like, "Sorry, I couldn't make it to parent-teacher interviews. Can we do an interview over the phone?" To really like live this lie, you got to basically be like, "Look, I just want to check on Marcus. He seems a bit down today. Did anything happen at school?" You want to really be part of this lie.
Exactly.
Do you know what I find troubling about Marcus's story about getting a friend with a smoker's voice to call up for you is that we were probably like 14 or 15 at that time. So why do you have a friend who sounds like Marge Simpson at that age? How much are they smoking?
17. Nah, you have to play it cool. You have to pick the right voice. They usually have to have a deeper voice and they're a little bit crackly, but that's all right.
Marcus just punches his friend in the throat and he's like, "Okay, speaking out.
Hold the phone up to his ear.
I spent a good 3 years recruiting this person, all right? I had a fine line of like...
There was a vetting process.
There was a vetting process, exactly, yeah.
So this person here then... What's their situation? Like, what do we need to do for them?
If you do the crime, you do the time. And I think when it comes to high school as well, the risks, you have to own it. It sucks that he basically copped a month of grounding because he had the double barrel of the teachers and then his parents.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the reality. You've got caught. You've got to do your sentence.
As someone, we've all been young people at one stage. When you have children that are in this same situation, are you going to be sort of, you're going to have to get the tough love and basically ground them? Or are you, if you found out that they did something really elaborate, are you going to be like, "God damn, I respect it so much that I can't fathom grounding them because I couldn't think of something that smart when I was a kid"? Or would you just be like, "No, this has to be done. Grounding has to happen"?
Man, I've thought about this so much because when even now, like I'm 29 now, when I look back on the things I did as a teenager, I still have thoughts of like, I wouldn't even humour the thought today of doing something like that. So I'd like to think that I'd be the cool parent, but I think the reality is when the issue is in your backyard, you're probably going to be like, "How dare you? Why did you do that? Blah, blah, blah." you know?
Right. I don't see myself as being a cool parent at all.
No.
I see myself as like, look, I'll appreciate it, but not to their face. I'm like, that elaborate little scheme, that was amazing. But to their face, no, I'm going to be the hard ass. But I also feel like my partner, like, she will tell me, like, oh my God, I can't, like, the stories I tell her, she goes, I can't believe you did that. Like, she's shocked. So if she's shocked from what I've done, if this kid does anything worse, then she's going to be extra shocked because it's her child as well. So I'm like, I probably need to be the authoritarian because, you know, Gotta do it.
Can I also add to the fact, Marcus, that your partner can't watch action movies because she hates seeing people get hurt. So I think knowing that her own spawn has put themselves in danger or, you know, on the other side of rules or laws, I think that's going to really hurt her probably more than it would hurt you.
100%.
I want to flip this question back on you, Tom, because you are starting to tickling. It's still a ways away, but your kid is getting older.
Sure.
Are these thoughts crossing your mind when she might do something that's a little bit cheeky, acting out?
Yeah. So we've suddenly gotten to the point where if you can tell her off when she's about to do something, what she mainly does is she picks the fur off our rug and puts it in her mouth, and she'll just eat fluff. So now it's at the point where she knows that she's getting told off. If I go over to her and if I see her do it, I go, and I come over to her, she like bolts off in a crawl and she just tries to get away. So she knows that like I'm coming to like stick my fingers into her mouth and pull out whatever fluff she's eating. So I can see her being, it's adorable now, but I can see her being a bit of a rule bender and then being like, I can get away with it. He's coming for me. But she sincerely thinks that she's faster than me, but she ain't.
As your daughter's lawyer, Tom, I would like to offer a counter argument and say, have you tried the fluff yourself? Maybe you'd like it as well.
You
that's
might
a
enjoy
very
it.
good point. I haven't actually tried the mat that everyone sort of stands on and walks on every other day. So you're right. It could be delicious, Damien.
That is a smorgasbord of flavors right there. That's a buffet.
Right. Of course it is. Of course it is.
That's it.
I think the reality is, like when they're kids, it's kind of funny that you can convey that you're upset with them just by making the noise of like it's so simple. Whereas obviously when she gets older, you're going to have to be structuring sentences. You can't. If you catch her drinking when she's underage, you can't just go to her and she's going to crawl away from you.
I point at her. She drops to the floor.
She's crawling away with her cruiser in her hand and a cigarette.
Oh no, it's my dad. It's my dad. Run, crawl. Crawl. Come on, girls on the grounds, crawl. So this person here, what do we say to them?
I think do the crime, you do the time.
That's it. I think the answer to your question is don't get caught. That's pure and simple. Okay. You had a friend that snitched on you. They're no longer a friend. That's it. You don't tell them. You don't let them find out. Don't get caught. If you're gonna, like you said, you do the crime, you do the time. Fair enough, but don't get caught.
All right, I think that's fair enough. Let's leave it there for Robert Downey Jr. and let's leave it there for the show as well, guys. That's unfortunately all the time we have, but great questions brought to the table as always. Wrapping up the show as we always do. What's going on in your lives this weekend? You had a long weekend the weekend before. Was it good? Did you make the most of it?
Yeah, I went on a boat ride. I hired.
I did actually see this. I saw you in is it like one of those boats you just hire? Do you control it yourself?
Yeah, you do. So it's like a little boat you hire. It can sit probably like, I would say 8 people comfortably, but there was only 4 of us. It's like I had a little battery motor and you can control it yourself. I just went down the Yarra. I went as far as I could for about an hour and a half, then turned around and went back. It was lovely. Had a bit of wine, had a bit of cheese. You're not meant to drink wine when you drive, but I did it anyway because I'm a rebel like that, guys.
Wow. Rule breaker.
Yeah. What about you guys?
I wasn't breaking any laws, Marcus. I definitely wasn't drinking and riding a boat.
That wasn't a law, Tom. That was just the company's rules.
It was frowned upon.
I'm sure it's a law as well, Marcus. No, drinking and driving is the company's rules. It's not the police's rules.
I swear to God, on this boat, I could walk faster than I was driving. It was fine having 1 glass of wine.
Marcus, I'm with you. Fuck the police.
Yeah.
Can't say I've been doing much. I've recently gone back into the brunch scene. Being able to go to a cafe and have something to eat is quite nice. Having to leave your name and number just in case they do need to call you and tell you that you have got COVID or there is a chance that you have COVID is not so cool.
Oh,
it worked.
There you go. Well, I haven't mentioned out that much other than my brief stint with retail that I had earlier in the week. It's been nice. I've just had I've actually been able to have my brothers over and stuff at my house for dinner. So it's just been pleasant to invite people in a way that it's like, are the neighbors looking at at us? Is this? Can you even be at the front of my house right now? Are we going to be in trouble?
Yeah.
It's nice to kind of have a bit of normalcy back.
Good.
100%.
We're all ready to get back into it, and I think this is the start of something beautiful. So while we prepare ourselves for the lives that will be changing, obviously as the days go by, we are going to say farewell and adieu to you all listening. But as I said, great questions brought to the table as always.